You are here because one day you made this bold decision to become a trader. You are here because you wanted more from life than just this daily grind. And you are here because you set very big goals for yourself and for your future, maybe even for your family. And you are here because you are not afraid of the work that it takes to get there. And deep down, I know that you know that you can do it. And sometimes it feels like you're almost there, just one step away. And yet, despite all that, you still struggle to turn the corner. So, why is that? Why is it that some traders seem to stick to their rules and follow their plan and make consistent profit like it's not a big deal? Why others, like yourself maybe, stay stuck in the cycle of struggle? They lose all their profits and sometimes even more and keep starting over and end up hurting their self esteem, their account, and sometimes even their quality of life. So, why is it that so many traders end up losing more that they would never even think would be possible and that they would never be willing to invest in themselves? And why is it that people who have been successful in their life build a successful career, they're fulfilled in other areas, who show up to work and work hard every day, they still cannot seem to break that cycle. They cannot break even at the end of the month. Well, in this masterclass, we are going to dig deeper into that. And you will see the real reason why it happens and also what you can finally do about it. I want to welcome you to this class. I am Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and equity trader since 15 years already. I'm also the CEO and the founder of Ahead Coach. And I am so excited to be here and welcome you to this masterclass, Trade with Confidence Without Forcing Discipline. And I know that many of you have been waiting for this class for a few months now. I give it only twice a year. So this is a very special occasion and opportunity for me to meet you. So I really hope that you are excited about what you are going to learn and discover today. And I know that many of you have been struggling with consistency for some time now, maybe even for a few years already. And everything that you have tried so far hasn't been working. So today we are going to try a different approach. I'm going to offer you a different way of thinking and of doing, an approach that helps you to actually stick to your trading plan, to follow your rules with less effort. I saw someone saying working less hard. So we will talk about it. And I want you to stop forcing yourself to make things happen. And it's possible. So by the end of the session, you will have very clear, actionable steps to let go of that stress, of the impulsivity that is putting you in that cycle of starting over. Stop second guessing yourself and your plan and your strategy and start trading with more ease. So no more fighting, no more trying to prove yourself right to the market or pushing yourself harder. And definitely no more sacrificing your well-being in the process. Trading for a living doesn't mean living for trading. And the goal of all that today is to finally break free from the cycle of starting over, build consistency in your trading and trade with confidence so that you can really see the growth, not just in your account balance, but overall quality of life. Sounds good? Before we dive in, just a quick disclaimer. Everything that I will be sharing today is for educational purposes only. And if this is not your very first masterclass in trading, you are probably very aware of the fact that this is not a financial advice and that you are responsible for your own decisions. And this session is also being recorded, which means that if you choose to ask a question, write in a chat or come on camera later on, there will be an opportunity for hot seats, or turn on your mic, that may show in recording. So by joining here live, you are agreeing to that. And the recording will be shared later on for learning purposes as well. Now, for those of you who are new here, let me share a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Poland, and I lived 15 years in the Netherlands since I was 22. And in 2013, I live in sunny Florida. So I have changed countries twice in my life. But I grew up in Poland, and I grew up in a working class family as a middle child. And maybe those of you who have an older sibling, they can relate. I had an older sister, and I always wanted to be like her, just like her. Whatever she learned, I wanted to learn too. I was very eager. I was actually reading already when I was 4 years old, tagging along wherever she went, even sneaking into her church classes when I was only 5. Much too early, but they did let me in. And one day in that class, the nun was asking questions, and the whole room was filled with kids and the parents. The parents stood in the back, and I was so eager to answer those questions. I was so impressed that I actually knew the answer, and I was so confident, and I was putting my hand up every single time. So then, when she asked if someone follows God and lives a good life, where do they go after they die? I knew the answer was heaven, but she didn't pick me. There were so many kids there. And then came the next question: where do people go if they did bad things and sinned? This time, she pointed to me, and I jumped up, and I was standing there, and I saw all the kids and the parents, and I proudly said, they go to hell. And suddenly, everyone laughed. The kids, the nun, the parents, I can still hear the sound of their laughing. Everyone. And I felt my face burn, and I was so ashamed. My whole body was just in panic. I knew one thing: I was wrong. The answer that I gave was wrong, and I wanted to disappear. And the worst part was, I didn't even know what I said wrong. I felt so stupid. I felt so alienated because it was just me standing there with everyone else laughing. And all I knew in that moment was that I never wanted to feel that way again. So I made a subconscious decision at that moment that shaped the rest of my life. I cannot be wrong. I cannot make mistakes. I must do everything that I can to avoid that feeling of shame, worthlessness, and isolation. And that's how it started for me. My whole life, I pushed myself to be perfect at everything. I was working really hard. I couldn't risk being wrong. I worked harder and harder, and I achieved a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful for it. I built a successful corporate career, I ran multiple businesses, but looking back, it costed me a lot. And when I started trading in 2010, that very same way that I was using in my life to achieve success was working against me. And I paid even higher price for it. And I'll tell you more about it in a bit. But for now, I want you to know that since 2018, trading stocks has become my income source. And today, I'm going to share with you how I was able to make that switch so that you too can stop fighting against yourself and pushing yourself and finally start growing your account in a sustainable way. So 6 years ago, I started coaching day traders where I combine my market experience with my background in NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, and also other modalities that I have studied for over 20 years now. And my focus is on the whole picture. I approach things very holistically. I don't pick one method and say, okay, this is it. I really look at the holistic approach to help traders break through their mental blocks, to build better habits, and to build the solid foundation for their life as a trader so that they can finally follow their plan with patience and confidence and achieve success that lasts. And I have been lucky enough to work with some of the biggest names in the trading industry, partner with great traders, and speak at conferences for traders all over the world. But what matters the most to me is taking those lessons and sharing them with traders like you, making that connection. That's why we are here, so that you can navigate the emotions of trading, stay disciplined, and finally break free from that frustrating cycle of starting over that I know so well. If you are a day trader who is frustrated with your inability to break that cycle and you cannot turn that corner because you're impulsive or hesitant and you are making decisions that are costing you money, and it feels like a constant struggle, you might be asking yourself now, why is this happening to me? And even though many times it might feel like you are alone in this, that it is just you, there is something wrong with you, it's not. Listen, most retail traders are unfortunately in the same boat. Research shows that only about 4% of day traders can make a living from trading, even when they have adequate capital and mentorship. So statistically speaking, only 4% of you will actually take the learnings and do something with it. The majority will probably just go back to your daily routine and say, oh yeah, this was a good class, and then just start doing whatever you are doing, even though it's not working for you. That is how 72% of day traders end their year with financial losses. In fact, according to research, 85% of day traders fail in their very first year. And that's due to poor risk management and emotional trading. They simply don't have the discipline to execute the plan consistently. And yeah, they are allowing their emotions to make their decisions. 80% of day traders quit within 2 years. How many of you have been trading longer than 2 years? So if you have been trading for more than 2 years, congrats. Seriously, congratulations on your perseverance. But since you are here, I assume that you are still spinning the wheels. And maybe you are asking yourself, when will I finally make it? When is this finally going to work? And it might be not just you wondering. How about your spouse? How do they feel about it? And let's face it, this is not just about making money, is it? This is about how you feel every day when you walk away from your trading desk. It's about how you feel about yourself and the rest of your life. And most likely at this point, quitting is also not an option. Am I right? Because you are not a quitter, especially after all that you have invested, all this time, all the money that you lost, all the effort. So you might hope that all the hard work should pay off at some point, right? But I can tell you that it is not about hard work. Many of us have been taught that hard work equals success. Who can relate to that? So just put more effort, more time, more hard work, and you will get the results you want, right? But tell me, haven't you been putting a lot of effort and time into your trading? And is it working? Is more effort improving your results? It isn't, right? Maybe it is for a short while, but not for good. You keep coming back to square one. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So this idea of working harder always leads to better performance is a myth. It's not true. Research shows that external pressures, even if you have financial rewards or social expectations, they may motivate you to work harder, but they do not improve the quality of your performance. And you might have experienced it yourself. And maybe you have also tried to study more. You've said to yourself, I just need to learn more. Maybe I just don't know enough. Maybe I just need to watch more YouTube videos. Or how about new strategy? Searching for the holy grail, for something better. But did that work? And maybe for a short period of time, it did look like it was working because you got something new, you got hopeful that you finally found a solution and it made you feel better. So then how long did it take to go back to where you were? Not too long, right? Because it is not about learning more. Knowing more doesn't solve the problem. It is not about adding more knowledge. It's about putting the knowledge that you have into practice. Adding more, all it does only creates overwhelm. It adds more confusion and sometimes even makes you question yourself and your strategy. As a result, it is causing you even more stress, and that makes it even harder to focus on your plan. Have you ever experienced the paralysis by analysis? Anyone? That you know so much, you're so overwhelmed? Do you ever find yourself overthinking or overcomplicating things? Maybe putting a lot of things on your charts that you cannot even see the candles? There is so much information coming at you, and there's so many options to choose from. And there's this new shiny object always just around the corner, right? That always looks like maybe this is the answer that I am looking for. And I get it. I've been there myself as well. And I know that when you struggle, you have this constant feeling that you're missing something. But the truth is, you already know what to do. You have the knowledge. Your problem isn't the lack of knowledge, it's the execution. If only you could make yourself do what you know you should. If. So, how many of you think that the discipline is the answer? If I only were more disciplined. But guess what? It isn't about discipline, at least not in the way that it is typically understood. And here is why. I have been working with traders on a daily basis for 6 years now. And do you know what they all have in common? They are all very ambitious people. And many of them are high achievers, very successful in their careers. Some are running successful businesses, and no challenge is too big for them. I have even worked with professional traders who started trading for themselves once they left the floor. And even they struggle. Those people, they are not only hardworking, but they are also very disciplined. They know exactly how to push themselves, how to get through the challenges, because that's how they achieved all their other goals. So, why, with all the discipline, are traders still struggling? It's because the kind of discipline that most people know and use doesn't work in trading. Trading is a different world. Like one of you have said, I'm coming to a different world and I'm using things from a different world and it doesn't work. It's not compatible. And you have probably noticed it yourself that the more you try to force yourself to stick to the plan, the more you push, the more stress you end up feeling. And yet you still don't follow your plan. And psychology and neuroscience shows us that stress triggers your emotional responses, making it harder to stay calm and make rational decisions. Basically, stress makes you less effective. And many trading books hammer in the idea of strict rules, rigid discipline, but in reality, this is exactly what creates more stress and fear. And if you have been there, you know that that leads to making impulsive decisions and breaking your own rules. And then, of course, you beat yourself up over it, which only makes things worse. And let's be honest, how many times have you called yourself stupid after losing money or said something like, I am such an idiot? Anyone recognize that? Or was I the only one doing that? Because I know I have done that many times, calling myself names. Because here's the thing, this kind of a self criticism is what we know, is what we have heard before. This is what we have learned to do, but it destroys your confidence. So, no wonder that you can't trust yourself or your plan. How can you expect to feel confident if all you do is tell yourself you are making bad decisions? How can you trust your instincts if you think that there is something wrong with you? You cannot trade confidently when you are stuck in that cycle of stress and fear. Those two just do not go together. Stress messes up with your focus, with your memory, the two things that you absolutely need to make rational decisions. So it is no surprise that you end up being emotional, impulsive, and unpredictable, just like the market. And that so called discipline you think is helping you is actually working against you. The truth is that the stress triggers your nervous system's fight, flight, or freeze response. And it is pushing you into this automatic survival mode. Have you ever been staring at your screen while trading? While a trade was draining your account literally, and you were just frozen in place, unable to stop the bleeding? Or have you been fighting the market like your life depended on it? And I'm sure that some of you have been there, or those of you who have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, no, the discipline is not the answer. What is needed is a completely different approach, one that helps you make rational decisions, that it helps you stay resilient while the market is moving up and down and is triggering you. An approach that will help you maintain consistent performance without all that unnecessary pressure. And this is where compassionate discipline comes in. As I already mentioned, I started trading in 2010, but it wasn't really until 2014 that I actually learned the basic of trading. So the first 4 years, they were really nothing to be proud of. I lost a lot of money. I was telling myself I'm just playing. So in 2014, when I moved to the US, I finally decided this is the moment where I will trade for a living. And after 3 months boot camp, where I learned some technical analysis and some basic setups, I left my well-paid job and I began trading full time. I was confident that I would succeed. There was no doubt in me because I have already built a successful corporate career. I moved countries twice, so I knew that I can stand a challenge, and I started several successful businesses. So after a very initial short burst of high profits, like 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks made a lot of money, I took several big losses. And that's where I started to struggle. Fear, hesitation, self doubt, paralysis by analysis, all the things that everyone is experiencing, I have gone through for 2 years. Things were not working. For 2 long years, every day, I felt like I was fighting myself all the time. You know, like you know what to do, you understand the strategies, and you have the drive. And yet, despite all that, you just keep breaking your own rules over and over again. You're chasing, you're jumping in and out of trades and fighting the market for the reasons you cannot even explain. You clearly see the trend is down, but you're still trying to long it. And then you wake up next day swearing to stick to your plan and be better, do better. And minutes into the open, you are already on your max loss. And then for the rest of your day, you're just trying to recover your losses, hoping to at least break even. That was me. And I kept thinking, if I just worked harder and be more strict with myself, then things would click. But they didn't. And instead, the harder I pushed, the more out of control I felt. And I kept making the same mistakes. I kept losing money and I couldn't understand why. Why I was not able to figure this out. Me, who had achieved everything I wanted. And that feeling of shame, of worthlessness, that I remembered very well from the time when I was 5, kept coming back, making me fight even more. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be right. I wanted to win so badly. But I felt lost and stuck. And I had no clear plan how to break the cycle other than just keep trying. And then one day, everything has changed. It was Saturday morning, and I was actually really happy that it was a weekend so I could get a break from the market. It was a beautiful weather. It was spring. I could smell it in the air. And I was really enjoying the morning. And then out of nowhere, I got this sharp headache. And it just grew stronger by the minute. And my body wasn't reacting as normal. So I started getting a little bit concerned and I felt like I'm fading away. And I was alone at home, and something in me said, call the ambulance. So by the time that I did, I couldn't even spell my own name. And I remember hearing the sirens in the distance, and I could see them coming in with a stretcher very vaguely while I was like half laying down on the couch. They started measuring everything, and then the doctor told me later that my blood sugar had dropped to critical levels. And they said that I was lucky to be alive and that now my life is going to change forever. And in the following days, after a bunch of tests and really no clear physical issue, the doctor asked me, do you have any source of stress in your life? And it was like someone hit me over the head. Trading was my only source of stress. But I hadn't really realized of how much it was affecting me until that moment. And it wasn't just about losing money. It was about who I became in the process. I had lost the confident, the self-assured woman I used to be, the woman who could achieve anything she set her mind to. I had completely lost the belief in myself, and I hated the way I was. I had lost my sense of control, and I didn't know how to get it back. So they sent me to a psychologist, and when she asked me, why don't you just stop trading? I just broke down in tears. And I told her, because I can't stop. I couldn't stop. I didn't want to give up. I felt like I had to keep fighting. And that's what, when it hit me, I had always fought for everything in my life. I was taught that hard work and pushing myself and fighting is the way. And many times I went over my limits and hurt myself in the process. But the approach that was working in my life because I was achieving success was destroying me in trading. And I knew that I couldn't go on like this. So after months of self-reflection and research and using all the tools that I had as a life coach, as an NLP trainer, I discovered that all the pushing harder and being harsh on myself, the discipline that I was forcing on myself, wasn't working. And in fact, it was working against me because it made me fight the market and myself. And I knew that I needed a new approach. And this is what I now call compassionate discipline. So when the nurse said, my life is going to change forever, she was right. It did. Not in a way she thought it would. It changed because when I applied this new approach, after this wake up call, everything has changed. my confidence came back. I started trading with more calm, more patience. And in fact, I was able to follow my plan without even forcing myself. It just felt so easy. I also became much kinder to myself. I didn't call myself names after losses anymore. And I really started feeling proud again, and not proud like y- used to. Actually, when I was achieving success in my life, I didn't really feel that pride because there was always could have been better. That perfectionism was pushing me and not even enjoying my wins. And now I felt proud and I felt confident again. And not because I was achieving something, it was because I allow myself to be a human, to make mistakes, to feel what is actually really happening instead of pushing through. And the difference was night and day. And I actually started enjoying my trading again. And this is when I realized that what I discovered, what I had, there was something really powerful, and that I want to share it with others. And that's why I now help traders develop compassionate discipline, and I see incredible results in a very short time. So, compassionate discipline truly is the easiest way to follow your trading plan and to rebuild your confidence. And it is also the quickest way to develop patience, ironically, and the patience you need in order to become consistently profitable. And I know that a lot of traders would love to be more patient, right? Compassionate discipline isn't the discipline that most traders think of. It's not about being soft on yourself, but it is also not about beating yourself up either. It's about making smart choices that line up with your bigger goals, no matter what the market is doing in the moment. Think about it like this: the market is always going to throw fake outs at you, right? There is a breakout, fake out. There are reversals, there's noise. And if you react to every tick, it's like chasing price. You're stressed, you're second guessing, and you are all over the place. You are like this marionette being moved and pulled the strings by the market. But when you stick to your system, your plan, your rules, suddenly you're calm because you know one losing trade doesn't matter because it's just a small piece of much bigger picture. And that's what compassionate discipline gives you. It gives you a structure that lowers the stress, makes mistakes part of the process instead of a crisis, and it keeps you grounded. And when you approach trading in that way, your confidence will grow naturally because it is built on consistency and realistic expectations and not on chasing perfection. And for those of you who struggle with impatience, this is a game changer because compassionate discipline helps you regulate those emotions so you are not riding the market highs and lows like a roller coaster every single day. And studies show that when you approach yourself with self compassion, it changes everything. It builds resilience, it lowers stress and anxiety, and it helps you stay in control of your emotions. And then when you are calmer and more grounded, it is also easier for you to make rational decisions. So, decisions that actually move you forward in your trading. And this is just not something that researchers figure out in a lab. History has is full of examples of people who use this kind of approach to perform at their very best under pressure. Take, for example, Thomas Edison. His discipline wasn't about grinding himself into the ground, it was rooted in self compassion. He is the guy who said, I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And that mindset is what kept him going, even after 1,000 setbacks. This is what allowed him to turn failure into progress. Now, I know that you might be thinking, well, I'm not Edison. I have tried so many things in trading and none of them worked. And I get it. If you have been at this for a while, losing trades, blowing up accounts, going through the same painful cycle, of course, your brain is going to tell you that. It's going to tell you you're probably going to fail again, because this is how our mind works. It just takes the evidence from the past and brings it into the present. And if you believe it, this is what you're going to get in the future. But the good news is, I have seen traders who are stuck in that exact cycle for years finally break free. And it didn't take years. It happened just in 12 weeks, once they started practicing compassionate discipline. Because compassionate discipline is what actually works. And here's why. Because it creates an environment of trust with yourself. And instead of constantly criticizing or second guessing, you start having your own back, like your best friend. You build the mindset that helps you make choices that are truly in your best interest, not just in the moment, but long term. It's really about giving yourself exactly what you need to succeed without bending over backwards to please everyone else or beating yourself up for not being perfect. And at the end of the day, compassionate discipline is what keeps you grounded and focused on what matters the most: your mental and physical well being as a trader, because you are the most important asset in that equation. Do you realize that? And without that foundation, you cannot sustain performance, not consistently. And without the consistency, trading for a living will always stay just out of reach. One of my biggest aha moments was that made me fully commit to this approach to compassionate discipline was when I doubled my trading account in just 6 months after starting to use it. And listen to this, I didn't change my strategy. I didn't spend more hours staring at charts. What I changed was my mindset and my approach. And that shift, it's what kept me consistent ever since. But don't take just my word for it. One of my students, Federico, and I'm not sure if Federico is actually here in the audience. If you are, Federico, say hi. He spent 5 years struggling in the market. 5 years. And then within just 4 weeks of us working together and using compassionate discipline, he has, hey, there you are, Federico, talking about you. Federico he was able not only to fund his account, but also received his first payout. And I remember how happy he was. And this is just one of his achievements, because he keeps sending messages about his funded new accounts and taking payouts. So what really changed for Federico? The same thing. He stopped pushing harder, stopped forcing more effort, and being much more loving to himself, much more forgiving. He started applying compassionate discipline. And he was the one who was like the most impatient in the whole group. If you ask him now what his level of patience is, many people would be really jealous. And this is the difference that this approach makes. And that's exactly what it can do for you as well. Here are just a few more results, because I want you to see that this is no fluff. This is not just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do some compassion. These are real traders with real results. And the crazy part, and Dana is actually here too. The crazy part is that most of these changes happen in less than 12 weeks. You get first results very quickly when you start using compassionate discipline, because this is not just theory. It's the quickest and easiest way to rebuild your confidence, follow your plan, and finally create consistency in your trading. And I've seen it over and over again with my students. And listen, as special my students are as they are, I absolutely adore and love all of them. There is really nothing more special about them than you. They're no different than you. And the only difference is that they have decided to take action and change their approach. And when you do that, compassionate discipline doesn't change just your trading, it changes your approach to yourself and your life. So instead of fighting, forcing, and barely surviving, you start thriving. It isn't a band-aid. It's not like a short-term hack. It is really a long-term strategy that will give you the foundation that you need to sustain success. And traders who stick with it are seeing consistent profitability not because they force themselves harder, but because they have built a mindset that works for them in both in calm and chaotic times. A mindset that is grounded in resilience, patience, and self-trust. And that's why I am here with you today, because I want you to experience the same, to reclaim your confidence, to step back in your power so that you can finally create the freedom that you have been chasing with compassionate discipline. And I see that some of you are already asking, how? How do I do that? Where do I begin? You might be nodding your head and saying, okay, I'm ready to shift my approach and finally use compassionate discipline to become the trader that I want to be. And maybe you have been trying before some compassion, but really don't know how to connect it with discipline. Or maybe you have been doing it, but not consistently, or you gave up before it had actually chance to really work. Whatever you are now, you are probably asking the same question as T. Rod and some other people. I get it. Where do I begin? Because once you see why the old way of forcing discipline doesn't work and how compassionate discipline can completely change your trading, then this is just a natural step, right? How do I actually start building this new approach so that I can stop emotions from taking over? I can stick to my plan and finally reach profit consistency. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it in this class. So stay tuned. But first, we're going to do something else. Because before we dive into it, I want to really find out if this is a right approach for you and your trading. Okay, so I have a few questions for you, and I want you all to give me answers in the chat. Okay, and the first question will be really easy. The question number one: do you want to break the cycle, move forward in your trading, and start trading with consistent profits? Yes or no? All right. All right. Easy question. Everyone, yes. That's awesome. Question number two. Do you want to work less, feel less stress, and enjoy your life more? Yes or no? All right. Big yeses. Lots of S in the yes. Beautiful. Are you someone who likes diving deeper into what drives you? Who like to look at what's under the surface? Yes or no? All right. Because if you are not the type of question, you might not allow yourself to develop compassionate discipline. You might encounter a lot of resistance. So if you are not the type of person that like diving, this approach might not be the right approach for you. And then the question number four. This is one of the most important questions. Do you have a strategy that works, that has a positive expectancy? It is tested. You have seen it work. It worked for you. You made money with it, or maybe you have seen someone else trading it and actually making money with it. But the problem is that you still, even though you use it, you don't have consistent results. Okay, I see some yeses, some nos. So if you do not have strategy with positive expectancy, if your answer is no, then while compassionate discipline will absolutely change the way you approach goals and your life and yourself, and it will help you in many other ways, it might not bring the trading results you are hoping for if you do not have a profitable strategy. And here's why. Because if you want to reach profit consistency, you need two elements. You need profitable strategy and consistency. That's how you get profit consistency. So if you have the strategy that already works, and the only missing piece is to actually be able to stick to it, the consistency, you are going to love compassionate discipline, because this is exactly what it is for. This is the foundation. And this is where we are heading next. So let me show you exactly how to build compassionate discipline step by step so you can follow your trading plan with ease, stay patient when it counts, and trade with confidence. How does that sound? Here's the big picture. These are the 4 components, and when you finally have all these 4 components, it will all connect together in a simple, easy to follow process that leads to consistency in your trading, and as a result, consistent profit. And make sure you have pen and paper, as you might want to write down some things. We'll be going through a few exercises, so we'll take it step by step, okay? Most traders ask themselves the wrong question. They sit there thinking, why can't I just follow my plan? And the automatic answer they reach for is, I probably just need more discipline or maybe a better strategy. But we have already established this is not the case, right? It's a trap. So the real question that you need to ask is, who am I as a person and as a trader? What is actually driving my behavior? Because you are the variable element in the equation. You are the one who is executing the strategy. The reality is that your struggles aren't about lacking discipline, but they are about not understanding why you keep doing the things you know you shouldn't. Why do you chase trades? Why do you break your rules? Why do you keep acting in ways that go against your own goals? It's hard to stick to your decisions if you don't know what is causing you to change them. And when that clarity is missing, then the fear takes over. It's a very natural response to feeling out of control or uncertainty. It's fear. If you don't understand your motivations, if your mind doesn't feel in charge, that is what is leading you to impulsive decisions and emotional reactions. And that's why redefining your identity as a trader is the very first step in this process. And it is the best way to make following your plan effortless so that you can build consistency. Let me explain. The trader that you are today, the way you think, the way you act in the market, it's random. Agree? No, it's not random. I'm just checking if you guys are paying attention. It is not random. Very good, Greg. Disagree. It's it's not random. The way that you think and act is shaped by your life experiences, your upbringing, and the beliefs that you have built along the way. In other words, it is part of your identity. Just like the story that I shared earlier with you from when I was 5 years old, completely shaped the way that I was approaching things in my own life. You have been shaped too. And the truth is, many of those experiences are still influencing the way you trade, even if you are not aware of it. And most of beliefs that we have, most people are not aware of them because you believe them so strongly that they feel like true and you're not even thinking about them. Now, if you want to achieve something you have never achieved, you need to become someone you have never been. If you want to go bigger, you need to think bigger. You need to act bigger. You need to allow yourself to expand. And that means that in order to act like a successful trader, you need to think and act like one. And that includes aligning your beliefs with that vision. And first of all, you got to have that vision. How do you see yourself as a successful trader? Because remember, you do not have the evidence yet of how does that situation look like. All your brain has is the evidence of not being one. Your beliefs direct your actions. They are fueling everything you do. So redefining your identity as a trader is about understanding who you are right now and who do you need to become in order to achieve your goals. And then it is about aligning these two, your current identity with the trader that you want to be, which includes your values, your beliefs, even your lifestyle. And it is not about you forcing yourself into how you think other people think ideal traders should be. If you go on social media, you will see thousands of keys to success. If you believe all of it, successful trader is a superman. And then you get the ego that starts fighting. It's almost like non-human. And then you start forcing yourself into that image. But it is not about that. It's about focusing on what is working for you. You are very unique. What suits you as a person? What aligns with the goals that you want to achieve? Not with the image of the successful trader laying in a pool with a laptop, drinking cocktails every day. Because you might not be that person. You might have completely different goals, different vision for yourself and your life. So instead of trying to fit into the blueprint that isn't even yours, it's about aligning with what is it that is. This alignment is what will make your trading performance sustainable in the long run, because it's not a trick. When you are performing a trick, you will get exhausted. And when you want to trade for a living, you want something that's sustainable without you have to put so much effort, so that you can build consistency without burning out. And when your beliefs, your values, your lifestyle, and everything aligns beautifully with your goals, it's easy, it's effortless. And you will feel confident that you can achieve them, so that you can actually take actions that help you move toward your desired outcome. And even just by understanding what your identity is right now and what is your identity of the trader that you want to become, you will already start seeing changes. One of my students said that she now can see when she needs to step away from the computer, because she can see when her need to be right takes control of her trading, just simply by going through this first step. She said, I was able to see my thoughts were out of alignment, and I walked away to have lunch. Now think about this. Over 90% of day traders won't make it. So if you look at that room, we are over 200 people here. How many of you are actually going to succeed? About 10%, right? Less than 10%. So I want you to pause for a moment right now and take a notice of what's coming up in your mind when you hear that. Which group do you believe you fall into? Ask yourself when you hear that, which group you fall into, and take a second to reflect on that. Very good, very good. There is no wrong or right answer here. The whole point is that the belief that you have about your success or failure in trading, it doesn't reflect the reality, what will happen. Here's the key. Whatever you believe will shape your actions. If you believe that you will fail, your behaviors will likely align with that belief, whether you realize it or not. Because you will be making decisions and taking actions that will reinforce that story. And on the other hand, if you believe you will succeed, which I see a lot of you do, you will make choices that will push you closer, that will put you on a trajectory to your goal. Your beliefs play a huge role in your trader's identity. When you believe that you can achieve your goals by pushing, you will be pushing hard and you might push it away from you. So it's very important to understand what your identity of a trader is about. Self-fulfilling prophecy, absolutely. Many of the self-sabotaging habits that you experience, like breaking your rules, the need to be right, even procrastinating, they are driven by limiting beliefs. FOMO is a symptom of beliefs about scarcity and abundance. These beliefs shape how you see yourself, how you handle your challenges, and also how you respond to failure. They define what you are capable of and what you are not. And if you don't understand these beliefs that form you, then you are essentially operating on autopilot and continuing the same cycle of failure. But when you redefine your identity as a trader and shift those limiting beliefs, you will start taking actions that align with the trader that you want to be. And you will become the trader. And you will stop being limited by the past experiences, by the evidence that you have given yourself for years, and shift completely your focus. And that will change your results. If you skip this step, if you're like, oh, I don't care about the trader's identity, you are actually risking staying stuck in the same old cycle because you will be not aware even of those self-sabotaging habits on the deeper level, how they are directing your behaviors. And you will be fighting your own limitations and then reinforcing the belief that you are incapable of achieving your goals. And the result? Stuck in the cycle of frustration, inconsistency, failure, and never really fully trusting yourself to make the right decisions, because at some point you might say to yourself, this is just the way I am, and then wonder why nothing changes. So let me show you what you can do to get started on this step, how you can begin redefining your identity. And inside my coaching program, we have a step-by-step process for it, which helps you expand on that. And but here is how you can actually get started. Step one is start becoming aware of the beliefs and the behaviors that are shaping your trading decisions. Reflect on moments when you have broken your own rules, chased trades, or acted impulsively, and ask yourself, what do I believe about myself as a trader? What is fueling this behavior? Like, what do I believe that makes me act this way? Look at past experiences or fears that might be influencing your decision. And journaling is a great tool to do that, really making some reflections, not just thinking about it, but writing it down so that you can see it, that it helps you to connect the dots. Ask yourself, how do I react when things don't go according to plan? How does this make me feel? What does it bring up? And then you can go even deeper and ask yourself, do I recognize these feelings? Do they feel familiar? When was the first time I experienced those? And let me know in a chat if you are now thinking about these questions, maybe right now at this moment, if there's anything that's coming up. Because by identifying these patterns, you will understand where they're coming from and how they have been holding you back. How are they like a sort of a matrix? How are they operating? How is this pattern operating at the background? I feel that the market is specifically against my trade. So you are personalizing the market. Like the market, it's like an entity that it's against you. You see, Trucy, you say, I've always been an impulsive spender and risk taker. This is a very clear identity. If you bring it more to the behavior level, you have maybe been making impulsive spendings, and you have been taking risk. This is a behavior you can change, but once you give yourself an identity, you're almost sort of like, I can't change it. It's just me. And the fact that you have always been doing that doesn't mean that you cannot stop doing it. But if you are someone, most likely you will stay that person because you identify yourself with it. I don't like to lose. Because this is a very common thing for everyone. Nobody likes to lose, right? So what is it that you believe that this makes you if you lose? What's the worst thing that can happen? What does this say about you? This is something that you can dig deeper into. The discipline and always not good enough runs deep. Not good enough. That is definitely something that many traders are struggling with. And this is definitely an identity issue. I am not good enough. And then you can start diving deeper and asking yourself, good enough for what? Or good enough for whom? Because the belief of not being good enough is coming from somewhere, from an experience. And most likely, the market is now in trading triggering that old belief about yourself. Why can everyone do this and I cannot? This has also to do something putting yourself against everyone else. Like there is what I hear is, what is wrong with me? Why everyone can do this and I cannot? What is wrong with me? So there is definitely an identity thing as well. Like, what is it? Like, what feeling does it bring up? When did you for the first time felt that there was something wrong with you? What experiences have you had that have given you idea that there might be something wrong with you? Everyone else having success and not me. And if you remember that we see what we want to see. So where you put your attention on, this is what you see. Because I have just gone through a lot of stats, and you know that actually over 90% of traders are not successful. So this is a belief, and it is not true. Like factually, if you look at the stats, most traders are not successful. So everyone is successful but me is simply a false belief that you are holding onto, and it is making part of your identity that is blocking you from making step forward. So by identifying these patterns, you will understand that where they're coming from and how they are blocking you. And my students can tell you that when you start redefining yourself as a trader, this is one of the most powerful workshops in my program, because it doesn't just affect your trading, it impacts your entire life. It impacts your relationship, how you approach things, how you feel towards yourself. It's very, very powerful. And you already heard the saying, how you do one thing, that's how you do everything. And that's why this is the very first step in my program. And a little side note, last week I released a podcast. If you listen to my podcast, you know where to find me. If you don't, it's Confidence in Trading podcast. And Ava, if you could put a link to the podcast. In the last episode, the number 61, I'm actually talking more about this topic of traders' identity. And the title is Why Consistency Starts with Who You Are and Not What You Do. So I invite you to check it out. It's Confidence in Trading podcast. All right. And then the second question, define the trader that you want to become. So take some time to visualize the kind of trader that you want to be, and just think beyond the idea of simply making money. Ask yourself, what values do I want to embody as a trader? Discipline, patience, risk management. How do I want to act? What mindset do I need to adopt to make confident and rational decisions? How do I want to feel when I trade? Calm, focused, in control. And while you are asking yourself these questions, be very specific. And then let me know in a chat what's coming up. Because if you clarify what you need to become, who you need to become as a person, it brings your mind into the state where you actually start thinking it's possible, because now you start seeing it. And when you get into that area of emotions and how do you want to feel, it's your body starts to feel that it becomes more real. That's why everything that happened before feels so real to us, because we actually have felt it. So clarify who you need to become as a person in order to achieve your goals, your trading goals, and write down this blueprint for your new identity. I want to be a successful trader is very, very abstract. If you ask me to paint you a house and you say, paint me a house, I'll paint you a house, but might not be the house you want. So if you give an order to your subconscious, I want to be successful trader, you got to be much more specific. What is successful trader means to you? How does this look like? How does it feel like? Clarify that and make that blueprint for yourself. And these are just a few questions that will get you started. And because many traders feel like they're not good in writing, inside my program, I also provide easy tools that guide you through this discovery process step by step. Okay. So this is just the beginning, but this is a good start for you to get into trader's identity process. A really powerful practice is finding someone that you can model and understand their beliefs. This is how you can create a blueprint for success. Look at someone who already is where you want to be and ask them, what is it that they believe? What traits they have? How do they think? Once you find that person, really take a very close look at their beliefs about trading, about money, about risk. How do they handle mistakes? How do they handle setbacks? What's their take on success and failure? What decisions are they daring to make to ensure that they can achieve their goals? So why is it so effective? Because it's all about self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to succeed. When you see someone else who made it and understand what they believe that helped them to get there, it will boost your own belief that you can make it too. Research shows that modeling successful people, whether it is in trading or anything else, helps you build your confidence and make better decisions and take more consistent actions because you believe that it's going to work. So by adopting the positive beliefs of someone who is already there where you want to be, you start to shift your own mindset. And that shift will naturally lead to more confidence and better decisions in your trading. And that's why in my community, you will find traders who also have already achieved success that you are aiming for. And they share how they did it so that you can get that modeling for yourself. Does anyone have questions on that step? And in the end, we'll have a Q&A session and then hot seats. I saw someone is asking about coaching. If you are ready to get on a hot seat, stay tuned and we'll get to hot seats. Yes. You can invent someone to model. Absolutely. You can make that your blueprint. It is just easier to find someone who already has it. And it can be someone you don't even know, but you can like read a book about them or listen to interviews with him. What do they believe? Okay. This could be someone like a trading mentor. Absolutely. If this is how you want to trade and the success that they have achieved, absolutely. Yes. So All right, Eva, let's make a list of people who want to join a hot seat. And then later on, we'll get to the whoever is first, then we'll get there. All right. How many times have you broken promises to yourself? Maybe you have told yourself you would get up early, stay up late to prepare for next day. Maybe you said that you will test your strategy or work on your trading plan. Anyone breaking promises? Why is it so easy to break those promises? You will say you will stick to your rules today and walk away after 3 trades, but then you change your mind at the last minute and decide to keep going because you want to make more money. You're just more greedy. And then you made some losses, or you want to make the losses back that you made the day before, or you just simply want to make more. Just think about it. If your friend would make promises and then keep breaking them, like he would promise to meet up with you and then not show up. After how many times of doing that would you stop making an appointment with him? How many times would it take for you to stop trusting his word? Or you swore off impulsive decisions only to find yourself chasing trades again. When you cannot trust yourself, how can you expect to succeed? Just think about it. We are so used to people not keeping their words that it became sort of a normal thing. But in trading, this is really something that hurts us. This is why the second most important component that we look at is personal integrity. It's about building a strong, honest relationship that's based on trust with yourself. And this is the most effective way to rebuild your confidence. It's about being accountable for your actions and honoring your promises. And I'm not talking about to others, but to yourself. Being truthful to yourself, to your values, and following through on what you say you're going to do, no matter what the market is doing. What other people trigger in you, what external conditions are, that despite all that, you stay true to yourself. It's basically about not letting someone else or something else decide what to do. Just think about it. Isn't that the freedom that you want to have? Isn't that the reason why you started trading? Being your own boss, deciding what you do, how you want to respond. Respond, not react. But in the meantime, you react to everything. And you are not doing what you decided to do. You let the market decide what you do. So personal integrity is about aligning your actions with your values so that when you say something, you will do something, whether it is sticking to your trading plan or managing risk, that you can trust that you will follow through. And that's where the real power is. Being able to decide how, and even if you want to respond to something. Having the power to say no and to walk away from your trading desk when you decide to do it. If you cannot walk away, what will you do when the market is open 24 hours, 5 days a week? You can already trade crypto 24/7, and Nasdaq is planning to launch those trading hours in the second half of 2026. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if you cannot walk away when you decide it's time? Will you wait every time until the market decides to take you out? When you build personal integrity, you finally follow through on your plan so that you can finally break from the cycle that you have been stuck in. And simply because you will have more self-confidence that so many of you says don't have. You will have confidence that you will do what you say. Thing is that most traders focus on the wrong thing, making money. And then you get caught up in chasing the next big win. And the problem is with focusing on money is that it makes you emotional. you start making decisions that are based on fear or greed, and that leads to impulsive and random and inconsistent actions. So that does not lead to consistency, because even though you are able to make money, you're not building a system that is based on good habits and a repeatable process that will allow you to keep the money that you make. And therefore, you cannot secure consistent profits. I hope you get it that consistency is far more important than making money in a short term, especially if you want to trade for a living. Without a repeatable and trustworthy system, you will never achieve consistency. Instead, you will keep chasing the next win. To build that system, you need good trading habits. And this is where personal integrity comes in. It's about consistently doing what you say you will do. If you keep breaking promises to yourself and doubting your decisions and making emotional trades, your actions just will simply remain random. And random actions will never build habits, and nor they will give you consistency that you need in order to trade for a living, because habits are all about repetition. That applies to good habits, but also bad habits. So for those of you who have traded for a long time, and you have been repeating your bad habits, they might have become part of your identity, going back to your identity. And now you're not even realizing that these are just habits you have built by repeating the bad habits longer and longer. So the longer you stay in the failing cycle, the stronger they become, and the harder it will be for you to change them, because they might be part of your identity. That's why the very first step is so important. So how do you get started to build personal integrity? Start small. Make achievable promises to yourself. Just begin by setting simple, achievable commitments that you can easily follow through on. For example, commit to reviewing your trading plan every morning, or focus on sticking to a specific rule for a week. It could be as simple as placing your stop loss order if that's something you struggle with. What other small commitments can you make? Let me know in the chat. Just share some ideas so you can also inspire each other. Some small things that you can do every day, and you say, this is what I'm going to be focusing this week. Something from your process. Whether it is market prep, very good. Only trend trade, very good. Journal every trade. Not change my stop loss. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. If you say, I do not change my stop loss, what is it that you want to actually do? Wait for candle to close. Very good. Very small list. To-do list. Very good. Very good. So guys, for those of you who just skim through the chat as well, because this might give you an idea, what are those small commitments or that you can integrate. Small wins build your confidence and trust in yourself. Even if you say, every day I'm going to drink a glass of water in the morning. Speaking of water, let me drink something. So if there's no trading between 9 and 9:30, what is it that you are actually going to do in that time? Because every time when you focus on something, not doing something, you are actually focusing on doing that. How does the time of not trading look like? So try to be more specific. What is it that you are actually going to do? And when you keep that commitment, you build more confidence. Hey, look, I keep my commitment. I'm trustworthy. And don't go for perfection. Just go for 70, 80%, okay? Progress, not perfection. And measure your performance. A second thing is build non-negotiable routines that support your goals, and make them non-negotiable. Don't make them too elaborated, because then it will be harder to stick to it. It could be a pre-trade ritual. It could be journaling after every session or after every trade. It could be dedicating time for your daily reflection. Having fixed habits will create consistency. When these routines are built into your day, they become automatic and they require less mental energy to maintain. And if you haven't already, please download a very useful tool from my website. It's called the Trader's Good Habit Tracker. And Ava, if you could put the link into the chat. There are already thousands of traders using it to build their routine, and it will help you track your habits and also measure which specific habits are impacting your trading performance. So this way you can build the most effective routine. Thank you, Ava. So you guys can download it if you haven't yet, and please give it a chance, not a try. Give it a chance. This is Howard. He is the president and co-founder of the American Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Association. He's actually a performance coach and trader himself, and he has been working with the tracker for some time now. And he said, and again, he used it. He didn't just download it. Remember, the tools only work if you use it. You might know Howard also from Quasar Markets. He basically said that it has been so insightful for him to begin looking at trends depending on what his routine was, and the way that his sleep and diet, relaxation or meditation exercises really change his trading results and how they influence it. He says also, more importantly for me, it has helped me find a better work-trade-life balance, which I know a lot of traders struggle with. And that has resulted in a better attitude to start my trading day, better results. So give it a go, not the try, give it really a fair chance. And I will also show you how to continue this work beyond today so you don't fall back into old habits a bit later. The third is use habit stacking. And some of you might be familiar with the concept if you have read the book Atomic Habits. This is the third step of building personal integrity. Stack new habits into existing ones. So, for example, if you have already a habit of checking the markets in the morning, just add a brief moment of reflection and journaling or a quick review of your trading plan right before. This reinforces the habit by tying it to something you already do, making it much easier to follow through. I know that building habits is not easy because it requires consistent repetition, and I know that it can be a challenge. That's why in my program, I provide my students with a very high level of accountability and support so that you can actually follow through, and they also motivate each other. Habits is something that is built by repetition, and this is also what builds your mental habits. The reason why you keep repeating certain thoughts is a habit. The fourth step is set clear and measurable goals. Like what we were talking about, the goal of, oh, I just want to be successful, or I want to be consistent, or I want to be patient. Break them down into specific, small, measurable actions. Okay. How does that goal look like? For example, today I will focus on exiting my trade at a certain level, or maybe I will make a priority to take a short break between each trade and walk away from my desk. Very specific. You know exactly how it's going to look like. There is no way that your mind can make something else out of it. This will give you really clear targets and makes it much easier to track your progress. And every time, celebrate when you hit the milestone to reinforce your commitment. Okay. Get accountability partner and support system. One of the most powerful ways to build personal integrity is by having someone to hold you accountable. Share your goals, share your commitments with someone you trust. It can be your coach, mentor, even a peer who understands your journey. Knowing that someone else is aware of your promises creates this extra layer of motivation to follow through, because you know someone is watching, and that you know also that you can share your win with. They can offer encouragement, they can remind you to stay on track, and also when you are challenged, they can help you navigate that. So if you prefer a more independent approach, you can consider tracking your progress through a journal, just tracking your stats, tracking and writing a journal about your trading, because seeing your daily progress and areas for improvement, black and white, it can be incredibly motivating. And there's plenty of journals you can use. Some of the journals that I find very helpful, online journals, is tradersync.com or TradesViz. And we have the links for you guys if you want to check it out. This is something like, I know TradesViz has 3,000 free import executions per month, so you can have a free account. Eva, if you would be so kind, fantastic. You're ahead of me. Awesome. And TradersSync has 7-day trial, and they have a lot of videos you can watch how to use that. This plays, like having the accountability partner plays a huge role in your development. And that's why, as a coach myself, I always stay on top of my students, because I want to make sure they make progress. And I have to tell you that this incredible community that we have built at A Head Coach is just amazing to see how people all support each other, and that support, how invaluable it is to your success. And my student can tell you that. Any questions so far? If not, we'll move to the next step. I can trust has been a challenge. That is something, can you take that question till the end? Because this has something to do with perception, and perception is projection, Ian. So the trust part, I would love to talk about a little bit more about that with you, all right? So most traders believe that if they could just stop feeling their emotions, everything would change, right? The emotions are the bad things we gotta eradicate from our trading. But do you really think you can switch them off? Let me know in the chat. Can you switch off emotions? Yes or no? In the chat. Hard to. No, 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 because they are a natural part of human experience. They are inevitable, especially in trading, and you don't want to switch them off, because how otherwise you're going to be experiencing your life if there was no emotions? Thing is that the market will always trigger you. The external world and even your internal world, your thoughts, imagination, memories, they will always trigger emotions. You cannot control that. What you can do is to build emotional resilience, which is the ability to regulate and to recover from your emotions without letting them control you and your trading. And this is why the next component of compassion and discipline is developing emotional immunity, that strength to withstand the pressure and still make rational decisions, so that no matter what the market is throwing at you, you can make good rational decisions. Emotional immunity is all about building the kind of resilience that lets you handle the stress and pressure when everything outside of you is wild. And the market can be wild, right? It is not about pretending that you don't have fear, or that you're not frustrated, or that greed doesn't exist, because those emotions will show up. And you cannot beat yourself up that they are showing up. This is a human experience. The difference is, instead of being hijacked by them, you learn how to regulate your response to them. That's what allows you to stay calm, think clearly, and act from a reason, not panic. It doesn't mean that you're suppressing, because it's the energy. You can, like, by suppressing, it's gonna explode. Suppressing is a very short-term strategy. Fighting your emotions is a short-term strategy, because sooner or later it's going to blow up in your face. And maybe you have experienced it. You had periods where you were very disciplined, and then on one day, everything just exploded. It means that you are training yourself to manage the influence of the emotions that they have on your decisions. So instead of letting your fear push you around into impulsive trades, or frustration tempt you to break your rules, you pause, step back, and choose based on your plan, not your feelings. And you can learn that. you can learn to regulate your emotions in a way that you build in that moment in between. Emotional immunity is about having a response system that keeps you grounded and focused even in the most intense market conditions. When you have emotional immunity, you stop reacting to every market movement with fear, greed, frustration, and instead you make clear, confident decisions that align with your plan. Again, you're not feeling the emotions. The emotions are still there, but you have the ability to handle it much better without losing control, and you are able to stay grounded. And that becomes a key factor in your long-term success. One of the students who have joined my group last year said, I applied emotional immunity strategies when emotions were running high, and I was able to prime my brain using visualization audio regularly and notice more consistency in trading results. I stuck to my trading plan more. And custom made visualization is something that I provide, and they are specially designed to prime your brain on a deeper level for desired performance. I also, by the way, provide something I call Impulsive Trader Aid Kit, which I think every trader needs, especially struggling trader, that is filled with tools that are easy to use every day and that can prevent going on tilt. By the way, do you know why so many traders experience going on tilt? Speaking of tilt, anyone experience tilt ever? Frustration, FOMO. Okay. Well, I had tilt today. All right. So it's because there is a belief that you can control emotions. What is tilt? I love it, CJ. You don't want to know. I assume it's a joke, but if it's not, you don't want to know what's tilt. In reality, the reason is that the emotions are being suppressed. So if you are experiencing tilt, that means that you are suppressing emotions and not regulating them. You're trying to push down the feelings like fear, frustration, disappointment, greed, whatever you are experiencing, you are suppressing it. But it's not controlling. And this is where tilt happens. Because you build up emotional pressure, and eventually this pressure has to be released. And often it comes all at once, leading to impulsive and irrational decisions. And this is what we call going on tilt. And the irony is that trying to control or suppress your emotions, it doesn't give you control at all. It actually leads to a complete loss of control, because those emotions, suppressed emotions, don't vanish. They just become more condensed, and then they erupt in the worst possible time. So instead of trying to push emotions away, you need to learn how to regulate them by understanding and managing your emotions as they rise. And you gain the true control that you need to make rational decisions. Without emotional immunity, basically it is impossible to manage your emotional triggers. That's why they're taking over. This is when you make impulsive decisions. Because when your emotions are in the driver's seat, they push you into irrational behavior. And that just doesn't line up with your plan, right? So this is like this negative cycle that just takes away your confidence and just make it even harder to trust your plan. And before you know it, you're stuck on the merry-go-round of emotional chaos, and that keeps you from moving forward. So if you want to get started with building emotional immunity, the first thing you need to do is to identify your triggers. You can ask yourself what makes you anxious or frustrated when you are trading, and feel free to make screenshots of those questions so you can have them for your reference. What makes you anxious or frustrated when you are trading? Is it a losing trade? Is it a missing opportunity? What happens? And I know that many traders get triggered by color red when they see losses. What is it that you are getting triggered? Losing trade, yes. Yes, absolutely. A lot of traders are getting triggered by losing trades, right? So once you identify the trigger, take a note whether it's a mental or emotional reaction. Like, is it something you're telling yourself when you see it, or is it something you're actually experiencing? Is it something you feel because of a story you're telling yourself? For example, I can't handle losing, or I cannot lose because I will be a failure, or I will never become successful if I take a loss. Or is it something physical, like a tight chest or maybe racing heart? Um, just become more aware of how your triggers show up, both mentally and physically in your body. This will be easier. Once you know that, it will be easier for you to regulate your response, knowing it's like, okay, what tool do I need to use? You need to know whether you're gonna use a nail or whether you're gonna drill a hole with a drill. So you need to know what kind of triggers are we talking about. And this awareness is the first step in building your resilience so that you can stay focused and grounded. This is the exactly kind of things that we dive more deeply in the breakthrough call, and I'll tell you how to join later, okay? Yes, so losing is part of the game though, but understanding is here, but your trigger might be emotional trigger. So there might be something more connected to it. You might be connecting something more to losing. And that's why on the rational level, you tell yourself you have to understand it's part of trading. Every trader says it, but then still the reaction comes. So it's on a different level. It's not in your thinking, it's not the rational. Your reaction is emotional reaction. So you cannot handle it by a rational explanation and say, yeah, I just have to understand it, because you probably have done it already many times, right? One of my students said that once she went through this process, she actually have noticed her emotion calm down, because prior to this, she was all over the place and it felt like on an emotional roller coaster. What is she doing now is compartmentalize her trading emotions. When she doesn't have a good trading day, normally it would ruin her day. She was grouchy, thought about what she did wrong all day, and she doesn't do it anymore. She leaves it on the charts when the trading day is over and goes about her life. And to build strong emotional immunity, I teach 12 key mindset skills in my program. This is one of the most important is self-compassion, which I think doesn't come as a surprise, because self-compassion, according to research, is one of the most effective tools for building resilience. Studies constantly find that people who practice self-compassion handle stress and setbacks much better. Instead of falling into negative self-talk or giving up, they respond with kindness and patience, which help them bounce back faster. Now, in trading, this makes a huge difference. When you take a loss or hit a setback, instead of beating yourself up, you respond with understanding, and that keeps you calm and focused on the bigger picture, which are your long-term goals, instead of being stuck in that frustration of the moment. So it probably is not going to surprise you that this is a cornerstone of what of compassionate discipline, right? I promise you guys to give you some free tools. So here's another one that you will be able to download. This one will help you build your awareness of triggers and keep your emotions in check during trading. This is only what you're getting when you are live here in this class. So awesome that you are still here. You cannot get this on my website, so we'll share the link in the chat. This is a daily check-in. This will help you build awareness and awareness of your triggers and keep your emotions in check during the day. Thank you, Ava. So you guys can get your free copy. And the last step of compassionate discipline, the last component, we have already established that many of you often feel like you're putting in the work, grinding day after day, but still not seeing the result you expect, right? You're pushing hard, following the strategies, but something isn't clicking. So the problem might be that your trading is out of sync with the rest of your life, out of alignment. I saw someone was talking about alignment. And that's why the last component of building compassion and discipline is strategic integration. It's all about creating a trading routine that supports both your financial goals and your personal life. It's not just about sticking to strict rules, but it's about finding the balance. Yes, you need to stay disciplined, but you also need to take care of yourself so that you're not burning out for quick wins. This isn't just about following a strategy to make money. Please remember, it's about making that strategy work for you, aligning it with your personality and your lifestyle so that you can build your edge and set yourself up for long-term success. When you go through this process of strategic integration, trading stop feeling like grind, and it becomes something that is more like fitting with your life and values. It's just more in the flow. It's not just financial, but it's mental and physical as well. And this balance helps you stay focused much more. It helps you increase that quality of your life. You will be able to make decisions much more clearly when you are making it from a place of internal alignment and not from a place of stress, so that you can keep moving forward towards the life that you want. And when one of my students implemented a specific trading routine that fitted not just like, okay, I'm just going to force myself and do these things, no, but really something that aligns much more into his life, he has work next to trading, and probably many of you might have too. He reported that his morning routine that he set up for himself feels calming, and that he feels much more in control when he trades, and his jitters subsided, and he was able to wait more patiently for his setups, and just his results improved. Without the strategic integration, you basically keep running in circles, and you're working longer hours and feeling like you're working hard, but you're not making the progress. And this is like alignment with everything. You know, if you have a vehicle with four wheels and one is not aligned, it's not going to function really well. That's why it is so important that you are aligning. The trading for a living, it's more of a lifestyle and not a job. Otherwise, if it's not aligning with the rest of your life, trading becomes a job again. And then once trading becomes a job, then you will lose the freedom and the flexibility that drew you to trading in the first place. And here is a simple checklist that addresses both the practical and the emotional aspects that you can use to think about how your trading fits with your lifestyle, your values, your well-being. And this way you can create a more balanced approach to trading. So make a screenshot of that slide and work on that after the class in the coming week, and you will see it will make a huge difference. How much time do you want to dedicate to trading each day? Go through each and every step and really make a point of putting focus on that and answering those questions. All right. I know that Peter was planning on joining. I don't know if he's still here, but we are diving much deeper into strategic integration process in my program. And you might know Peter from Twitter. He is a veteran trader with 50 years of trading experience. And he's actually part of this integration process that we work on aligning your strategy with who you are, so you can enhance your edge within our program. And you work directly with Peter during workshops on that alignment. So we're very happy to have Peter being part of this program. If you don't follow Peter yet on Twitter, here's his handle. Just make sure that you have the right one, because he has a lot of lookalikes. The one that is the real one has, like, I think he has now by 130,000 followers or something like that, or maybe 120, not sure. All right. Think of your trading journey like crossing a bridge. And each of the four components is a key part of the bridge. And together, they carry you toward long-term success. Now, the trader's identity is the foundation, and this is what gives you the clarity and the confidence that you can make decisions based on who you are as a trader and not the outside noise or the pressure. Personal integrity is the framework, the strong support that keeps your action in line with your values and your commitments. And it helps you stay accountable without beating yourself up. Emotional immunity are the support beams of the bridge. It keeps you steady and grounded. It helps you manage emotions under pressure so that you don't fall into impulsive decisions. And then you've got the strategic integration, which is the actual roadway. It ties everything together by making sure that your trading strategy fits your lifestyle and your long-term goals so that you can move forward smoothly and consistently. You can have an enjoyable journey. So these are the four components of compassionate discipline. When you put all these pieces together, then you build a bridge strong enough to carry you across to success with compassionate discipline, staying focused, adaptable, and resilient without sacrificing your well-being along the way. So now that you've got the solution in front of you, you have a choice to make. Are you going to keep doing what hasn't been working, forcing discipline, working harder, struggling to follow your plan, and hoping that one day it will magically click? Will you keep bouncing from one to another strategy? Maybe you will get some more psychology books. Or maybe procrastination slips in and, the time passes by and you wish you have done something. And deep down, you already know that when you repeat those same mistakes, that only reinforces bad habits and strengthens the belief that maybe you will never make it. Or you will choose a different path, getting out of your comfort zone, which sometimes feel a little risky and maybe a little scary. Will you say yes to something that you already know works, something designed to help you finally become the trader that you aspire to be? Are you ready? Are you ready to feel empowered? Are you excited about getting some finally right guidance? And are you ready to commit to making these lasting changes in your trading? Because this is what this is really about. We have talked about the stats, and you know that only small percentage of traders are constantly profitable and able to make a living. And the reason why is very simple, because they do things differently. They get out of their comfort zone. The majority aren't prepared for what trading really demands. Just look around, look at the education out there. It's mostly technical, right? You have some psychology books, but you know from your experience that your problem isn't lack of knowledge. And if you don't really address the real problem, just like most traders, you won't be different. You will stay in that majority, nice and cozy, struggle together. And yes, it will feel familiar and safe. And this is what everything in you might be pulling you towards, like, oh, we know it's not great, but we know how to deal with that. And I'm the one who knows how to struggle. We'll get on the challenge. But it will not get you where you want to be, because you have tried that approach already and you know it's not working. If you don't address the real problem, you will stay stuck with the majority. Comfortable, yes, but always struggling. And comfort does not lead to growth. As the saying goes, it's lonely at the top, and that's because not many people are willing to step out of that comfort zone and do what it really takes. So the question is, will you let go of the past, move beyond your limits, and finally get the support that you need to follow the exact steps that will make your trading work for you? And if you are ready, then I'm here, ready to help you to take the next step. If you are the kind of person who is ready and you want to commit to your growth and finally become the trader that you want to be, then I am waiting for you inside my coaching program, The Rise Up of the Profitable Trader, and we are starting September 2nd. And if you are wondering how you can actually make the shift for yourself, this is what the breakthrough call is for, and I will share more details with you in just a moment. But I actually want to spend most of our time answering that we have left, and actually I applaud you for staying that long. That says already a lot about your commitment to your success. I would like to answer some questions because this is really where the real value is. And before we dive in, let's pause for a second and just notice where your head is at. Okay? The fact that you are still here tells me that you are searching for a solution. At the same time, I know from experience that it is not always easy to accept help. I know very well how that feels. For some, it's perfectionism. I'm guilty of that. I have to figure it out all on my own. For others, it might be shame or just doubt that anything will work for them. So just check in with yourself. Have you already made up your mind about it, whether this can work? Because it is often those very thoughts and beliefs that keep you stuck in a cycle, not just trading, but in other parts of your life too. So let me know what's coming up. Let me know in the chat. If there is any resistance coming up, it's a very natural process. And your head is going to come up with all kinds of things. It's the cost, it's the time, I'm too busy, I can do it myself, nothing will work for me. All those things, all those reasons are what is keeping you stuck. It is keeping you in the status quo, in that comfortable, because taking risk requires you to get out of your comfort zone. Resistance is a very natural response to change, or even a perspective of making a change. The solution is right here, because in course of 12 weeks inside the program, I will take you through those 4 elements of building compassion and discipline, and that will allow you to consistently follow your plan and trade with confidence, self-control, so that you can finally become constantly profitable. And the reason why it works is because I put so much focus on personal guidance, lots of live interaction, support directly from me, and the accountability of being part of a community. And all of that is designed to help you build solid habits that you can carry forward, so you live with a more disciplined but also compassionate approach to trading, so that you can sustain it on your own. So we have weekly live group coaching calls, daily contact, step-by-step guidance, and supporting community. And because trading is a continuous journey, you never stop learning. And I want to make sure that you have plenty of opportunities to strengthen your skills, to practice the discipline, to keep your momentum going. And it's really so much easier to do it when you have people having your back and you have people who hold your hand and help you through it. And for those of you who want even higher level of support with one-on-one access to me throughout the program, there are also options available. And that's something that if you would like to explore, I'll be absolutely happy to share more details after we connect after this class. So just give you a quick overview of the 6 modules that are inside the program that help you develop compassionate discipline. This is 6 modules that will take you through those 4, build those 4 components. It's resetting your journey. So we kickstart your transformation with a total reset and redefine yourself as a trader, so that you can shift your perspective and leave the past failures behind. So from day 1, you start building the mindset and mental foundations that make profitability and consistency possible. And then we break the fading cycle. So you uncover what is actually sabotaging your own trades. What are those beliefs? What is that subconscious programming that drives your decisions, and reveal those hidden patterns? That's why I asked you, do you like digging deeper? Because we would be going deeper. and exposing those triggers that are keep pulling you off track. We would then build emotional resilience, the immunity, because you will master the mental and emotional awareness to learn how to regulate your emotions in real time so that you can control your impulses and stop sabotaging your trades. Building the bridge to bridge the mindset gap basically is discovering what has been limiting your success so that you can uncover the beliefs and walk through the key mindset shifts. So really switch the way you approach yourself trading and all the concepts, money, success, and everything that top traders really rely on. So this way you can build new mental habits that will make you stronger, more confident, and consistent trader every single day. Designing a lifestyle that supports your trading success. This is this one, and the next one, alignment, is about strategic integration. So this is where you replacing your limiting beliefs with winning belief system, create routines that are building a solid foundation for consistency, long-term, lasting performance, and aligning also your strategy and even writing your professional, personal trading plan. And I provide you also with some cool, very helpful tools, the whole transformation toolkit to break your limiting beliefs, rewire habits, build awareness, and strengthen discipline. The Impulsive Trader 8 Kit I mentioned, with instant access to tools that help you manage the emotions. And you get also professional trading plan. And there is so much more. I don't want to even take more of your time to tell you everything that's in there. The next group begins September 2nd, and this is the last group this year that I'm doing. I know that this decision might feel like a big decision right now, and I don't want you guessing whether you want it or not. This is not the place and moment right now. That's why I'm offering breakthrough calls, and these are simple, very small group, maximum 5 people calls, where I will walk you through the Rise Above the Profitable Trader program and all the details of everything that's in there, what you are getting, answer your questions, and help you decide if this is actually a right fit for you. And since you are in this class here and you're still here, you have the first opportunity to book your call before everyone else. There are just a few days that enrollment will be open and my schedule fills up fast. So I encourage you, if you would like to know more, schedule your call now. The open enrollment begins on Friday. So this is where everyone else gets a chance to book the call. And the enrollment closes on Wednesday next week. So just a few days. If you scan the QR code and click the link, you can choose the time that works best for you. Seats are limited because it's a limited number of days. So my schedule has a limited number of hours. So grab yours while they're still available before we open the enrollment to everyone on Friday, because then we probably run out, most likely based on last time, out of times for those calls. So again, this is the call to introduce you to the program and help you decide whether it is the right fit for you. And if you schedule your breakthrough call now in the next 15 minutes and then decide to join the program, you will get an additional bonus. This is only the next 15 minutes, and I am putting actually a timer on for 15 minutes. So if you schedule your call and then you will decide to sign up after you decide if it is the right for you, then you will get 3 months access to my core membership of my Discord community, the Ahead Coach Club, where you get for 3 months monthly live masterclasses where you learn additional tools and strategies and have one-to-one coaching from me. Monthly live Q&As. These are also live sessions with me where you can bring in your challenges and get more personal, even more personal coaching, and daily community chat and access to me through the chat. starting as soon as the program begins. But this is only when you book the call in the next 15 minutes. You get this extra bonus. So link to book the call is, I will ask Eva to put it into the chat. Eva, if you could put the link to book the call. And you also can scan the QR code right now for the next 15 minutes. Who is gonna get it, is gonna get the bonus. All right. So we are going from 9:15 approximately to 9:30. All right. For those of you who have booked, I'm looking forward to talking to you. And now, while I'm holding this slide on here, we are going to jump into your questions and into the hot seat. How does that sound? All right. If you like, you can start the video and unmute yourself. And I'm going to stop sharing. And if you guys need a link, Eva is going to post it in the chat. All right, Jamie. And I'm going to remove the pin. So, hey, there you go.
Great.
Hi, very nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
What question do you have?
I think I have progressed a lot. I've been doing this for 7 years. I started with stocks, then I went to options for a while, and about 2 years ago, I switched to futures. And I've found a rhythm there. And I'm very much like that student you passed before, posted before with the Top Step payout. Pedro, I don't want to mess up his name. I don't remember it precisely. And then when you were talking about perfectionism, I was just looking for any tips for that, because I can pass challenges. I can pass even hard challenges now. I can have gotten some payouts, whatever. But my consistency, it's becoming like a white knuckle thing where I can have some good days, but then I know that if I will be in a trade, I will know it's going the wrong way and I won't get out of it because I think I can fix it. Right? Just to, let's break even or do whatever, even though I know that we've reversed and we're probably going to here, and then I get blown up or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's this, I even know what's happening. I could reverse, like the reverse is a horrible button to use, right? But I could reverse the position and probably made back but there's just something that, and I know a lot about limited beliefs. Like I do a lot of work with it. So I love this kind of stuff. I've worked on myself a ton. I just looking for suggestions for that thing of like the emotions around having to fix something right away or not being able to take a loss or doing that. Like,
What is it that you are actually trying to fix?
do it. It's okay. So I'm thinking back to like, okay, so say I have like I'm approaching, maybe I can take 400 loss on a trade, right? And that is mentally what should be the loss. I start to think of like, oh, I have to make this back. Like in order to get paid out, in order to do whatever, I have to make this back, and then I have to do more, even though that's not it's not tremendously difficult. Like I'm capable of doing that. You know what I mean? Like I once had an account where it was like I had $200 left, and I had to and I saved it and got a payout from it. So it's not like I keep asking myself like, am I gambling? And it's not that. It's like this. It's something else, and it's definitely causes like emotional. Everything you were saying was resonating with me. So you're spot on. Like you're the first person I've heard who knows what they're talking about when it comes to mindset and trading. I mean, there are other people, but like you really get it and articulated things that I have not heard anyone else talk
And
about.
I have heard like what you're going through. It is so recognizable, not just from myself,
Sure. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
from a lot of times. What happens is, and I hear you, and I also hear you saying you really love going through that process and beliefs, etc. But what it does is you're here. You
Yeah.
are constantly here, and you're trying to figure it out.
Right.
You cannot figure out emotions with thinking because it's happening in your body. So
Right.
when I ask you what is it that you are actually trying to fix, you immediately should hear and you think, I think.
Uh,
So if you just take a moment and you take that question and you like take a deep breath and go back into your body and you ask yourself that question again. Okay, so things are not working. The trade, I might lose money. I don't want to lose money. What is this making you when you are in that state? What does it say about you when you lose money? What is it that you are actually trying to fix or trying to prove to yourself? What's coming up? First thing.
It's like it has to be perfect. It can't it's almost like I don't deserve it.
What happens if it's not? What's the worst thing that can
I
happen?
it's not, it's just not okay. Like, it's not a, yeah, the word, like, I don't deserve it when it's like I don't deserve
What
to
is it that you
be
don't deserve?
doing, well with it. The first thing that came up was that it was, like, I don't deserve for it to be so easy,
Mm,
you know? Like, it
yeah,
should be hard.
yeah, yeah. Have
Exactly.
you struggled a lot in your life? Did you have to struggle?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I definitely have had to work a lot, and yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is one of the biggest challenge to overcome for many, many people because when you struggle in life for things, acknowledging and embodying it, here we know it. And this is the reason why you get into trading. I want it to be easy. Oh, it's easy. You look first, it's like, oh my God, people are making money in a minute. I want this, right? But then you come here and then you start coming with your identity, actually part of your identity, because you know how to struggle. So you bring that into your doing and you are not accepting for yourself this to be easy. So you start making it difficult for yourself.
Yeah,
So you are actually recreating a situation for you to feel comfortable because you know how to struggle.
right,
So you are bringing yourself back into that state, and it is a matter of changing that identity and the beliefs that are behind it
right.
to change those beliefs. And I'm sure that if we would go much deeper into it and dig much deeper, there is more to that deserving part. And I think because they're like you shoot up quickly here,
Mhm.
this is your protection mechanism because it's easier.
Yeah,
It's easier to shoot up here than feeling the emotion that's behind there. Right. And always with the processes like this, there has to be you gotta let your subconscious allow you to do it and not block it. That's why this is a process of not like barging through it and say, yeah, let's get to the bottom of this. you know
yeah,
Especially in the environment here, with everyone on the call, it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean, your subconscious
yeah,
might be even more protective of that.
yeah. No, as you say that, I have a history of, like, being the person that fixes things for people, so it's
Yeah,
part of my identity, right?
there you go, it's part of your identity, you're the fixer.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there is probably part of that perfectionism behind it. There is somewhere where you might ask yourself, at what cost? At what cost I am fixing everything for everyone? What am I sacrificing for myself? Because that cost you are now paying in trading.
right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for bringing this up. Thank you,
appreciate
Jamie. Really, really brave of you. And remember, vulnerability is a very important trait of a trader because we need to be vulnerable. We need to show ourselves to the market and say, I'm ready, punch me. Because this is what happens when we take a loss. We get a punch from the market and we need to be ready and say, I can handle it. Not
right,
from a place, I'm going to fight you, but from a place, I can handle it because I have a plan and I'm prepared and I know what to do. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to, just because you punch me, I'm going to be punching back. I'm not going to be reactive. I'm going to be responding.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Great work. Thank you, Jamie. Yes, I'm sure Nick, like I'm sure there's a lot of people who are struggling with the same things. That's why those hot seats are so good. And I really appreciate you guys that, when you are brave enough to come on and actually share your thing, because there is probably plenty of other people here on this call that have the same thing and will benefit from that. Sonia, would you like to come on?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, Sonia. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations for being brave.
Thank you.
So tell me.
Well, I love the entire presentation. It felt like you were reading like my life. It's like, yes, that's everything that's been happening to me. And they say ignorance is bliss. And so when I first started trading my first year, I was very successful and I didn't know what I was doing. Last year, I just kept making money and I was just like, this is really kind of cool and easy.
Yeah.
Then at the end of the year, my husband had been laid off at that point for over a year, and the pressure, he started to kind of look at me to bring in some of the money, and my energy shifted. I went from this is a cool hobby, I'm making money and building up my retirement, to, oh, we need money to pay for the mortgage and the bills. And once that changed, I tried to buy more programs. And in the midst of doing that, unfortunately, I ended up in a WhatsApp group that kept giving us, they groomed the group to basically take all these trades. And then eventually it was all designed to basically have you buy a Chinese stock that they pumped up. And I ended up losing all of my retirement. And
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, it was awful. And so this happened in January, and up until that point last year, I was probably able to make about 9K a month on my trading. All of a sudden, I had no money to trade. And not the worst part is that I actually also did margins. And then so my margin account started to become like, hey, you need to pay us for the loss. So I didn't trade for like 4 or 5 months. I literally fell into a depressive state.
Yeah.
And so I've started to trade again, and it's been very minimal, but talk about doubting, questioning, and reacting and having all these really horrible things happen. Like, I've lost so much of my money, just my own, not even from this scam, that I have, I'm doing very small, but I'm very reactive. I get very impulsive. I let the trade sometimes slip, and all of a sudden it's dropping, and I'm just like, it's gonna reverse, or it's something, I'm gonna give it more time, or what I mean? And so I'm not putting stop losses like I should, because I'm thinking I need to make that little bit of money that I've tried to go back into work. So yeah, so everything that you said has been really helpful, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what is it that you would want?
I guess it's that of course the doubt becomes like, my husband told me today, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this isn't, and of course then that amplifies my thoughts, like, am I just not really that smart to be able to do this anymore? Like, did I have something that I just didn't know? And like I said, the energy became like fear-based, not like, this is so cool. I couldn't wait to wake up back then. Every morning felt like Christmas. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be such a good day. And then now it's like, oh, what's the market doing? Oh no, everything, it's going down. That means everything in my portfolio is going down, even though I'm trading like one contract, for example. And I've done a bunch of stuff by now. I've done leaps, I've done spreads, I've done calls, long calls, diagonals, covered calls. I'm doing everything because I'm trying to figure out the system that will help me become consistent.
Okay.
Um,
So there's a few things. Um, First of all, it's fantastic that you have the awareness that it is your energy shift, because truly everything is about energy. Your momentum has shifted,
mhm,
and it is a little bit like you were a planet on the orbit and there was a huge meteor and it just bumped into you and it just put you off, and you're off, you're out of alignment, and
mhm,
you are speeding now out of alignment with a very different momentum, with a
mhm.
negative momentum.
Yeah.
And one thing so it's very good that you are aware of it. Now there's so many things to unpack there, but now let's take your husband. Our loved ones, especially those who are not trading. I'm fortunate enough to have my husband who is a trader, so he has actually helped me through the difficult period,
That's
being
great.
my crying pillow.
That's
Um, but most of our loved ones, they don't know thing about trading, and they also don't understand how to support us. So all they see is you're hurting. The best thing for you to do is to stop.
yes.
So they are coming up with solutions from the place where they are.
Mhm.
So you can listen to it, but having the awareness of where they're coming from. And the
Mhm.
fact that the way that are trying to help you, they say nothing, it says nothing about you. It says just something about the place where they are and how they see trading and how they see you. They love you, they want to help you,
Yeah.
and they are concerned. Okay. So just try to split it, and there's a lot of things to detach from, because the
Mm.
fact that you were trading well, you said I was, I just started, I didn't know much, etc. That's the happy phase. But the moment you start learning more, you start overthinking, and now you have all these indicators. Now you know there's so much to learn, and it becomes
Yes.
overwhelming. But the truth
Yep.
is, the moment that you learn all that, then at some point you find out that actually the easiest way is to go back to basics and then start simple and just keep it simple. Not overthinking it, not taking everything what everyone is saying and jumping strategies. I have
Yeah.
students who live from trading one single stock every day, the same stock. Okay, simple.
Yeah.
So try to create in that sea of things that are happening and that are contributing to your negative momentum, because the momentum causes you to take everything that's happening and see it in a negative way, because
Yeah.
now you're wondering, maybe I am not cut out for this, right?
Mm.
So the momentum is like you are on the lower frequency, operating like a radio station. You are now on a different frequency than you were, and all you
Mhm.
need to do is to tune yourself into the higher frequency and
Mhm.
tune out the noise that is not serving you. And also, one of the noise is in the different story that you would help you to start telling yourself is that what happened to you was not your fault, that happened,
Yeah.
that you were part of a scam,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
not because you are stupid. This happens a lot to people, because
Yes.
if you knew better, you wouldn't do it, right?
Right.
It's not like you knew it and you step into it and you say, sure, take my money,
Right.
right?
And that's a big warning to everybody. There's so many ads. Do not go into those WhatsApp groups. They are fully manipulating all of it, from the stock to if they're telling you to go to another site. If they're all it's an elaborate group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with everything. Like this happens to stocks, but this is, also with all kinds of scams these days. Like
Yes.
just turn around and there is a scam, right?
Yeah.
UPS text, you have a
Yep.
package. It's like you cannot get away from it. So
Yeah.
trying to kind of making like boxes and putting things where they belong, instead of putting it all on yourself and making it kind of a general statement for yourself and feeling bad about you, because that is creating more stress. The
Mhm. Yeah.
experience that happened is actually causing your nervous system to tap into it and be scared. That's why you are feeling all those emotions in trading.
100%. Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
about learning to regulate them, learning the skills, how to regulate those emotions, because those emotions are triggering that fear, because your system is protecting you from this to happen again, which is designed to do. So that's great. You don't want to become again scammed. So it's great that it's working, but in trading, it's not helping you. That's why knowing, like, okay, I recognize these triggers, I recognize what my head is telling me, and then I learn the skills, the emotional resilience and immunity to regulate those emotions so they are not influencing my decisions. So even though I feel it, I feel the emotion. I like to compare it to a candle flame. You know, when you put the candle on, it's kind of steady, and then the wind comes in, and sometimes it just does this, right? You don't see the wind, but you know it's there.
Right.
It's just like the emotion. The energy comes in, and it's like, oh, wow, I feel it, right? And it makes you want to do something, but you know that it's going to pass. And having the skills to regulate that. And the simple way is one of the ways is breath. There are techniques, breathing techniques that helps you actually regulate your emotions during trading. I teach those skills as well to be able to exist in those conditions.
Yeah.
It's really very simple. It's like we normally do, like when we work somewhere else, we equip ourselves with tools. If you work at the airport, you see people like they wear headphones, right? It's bloody noisy, so they have headphones. If you work in trading, you need emotional regulation tools, period, because you are exposed to powers that normal people do not get exposed to.
Yes. That's a
Period.
great analogy. I love that.
It's your working conditions, and your working conditions are constantly bombarding you with triggers. Just look at the charts. Red, nobody wants red. Red, money. It's just like the way even that everything is put together. Loss. It's a loss. Oh my God, I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to lose. It's even the names, the money, the dollar sign everywhere. Bling, bling, bling. It's just constant triggers, constantly.
Yep.
So you
Absolutely.
need to build the shield around you. It's like you need to, before you get to trading, you have to put like a jacket, protection jacket. It's like,
Right.
okay, I'm
The
going to
armor,
work.
right? The armor. Right.
Yeah, yeah. You cannot just come in every day and it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try. And then you pass out because your fight or flight response is taking over. And now you're gone. Now you're trading unconscious. And then you're like, oh, I don't even know what happened. Oh, I just lost again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And staying in that good momentum and working actively and intentionally on bringing your energy level up and creating that good momentum, it's much easier to be done in a community that is actually also doing that, or having someone that can help you do that. And you could talk to your husband and actually tell him what would help you. You can tell him, like, I understand you're concerned, but this is actually not helping me. It's actually working against me. So this is our responsibility as traders, how we present ourselves. And this is for everyone. How do you present yourself to your spouses, to your loved ones, so that they are not worrying about you? Because you have to understand that they are seeing you, they love you, and they're seeing you as this person torturing themselves. It's like, why the hell are you doing this? And you're like, because I want to be a trader. Like, why would you want it? Did you see yourself recently? You're like not enjoying anything. You're beating yourself up. You're completely changed. Like, why do you want this? Right? This is how they see you, because they don't understand what the heck are you doing, and you're fighting with yourself inside. And then you tell them how this life is going to be fantastic in few years, and it's just like, yeah, if you survive this, because you're like crashing every day. So when is it going to be fantastic, right? So having that compassionate discipline, that's why this approach is like, you have to start approaching yourself differently, from a very different place, being more loving, understanding to yourself, and not putting all these things on yourself saying like, I am this, I'm that, and then expecting that you will be performing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't think a lot of us, and I saw a lot of people posting that it's a very lonely position. Even in the live groups that I'm a part of, there's no interaction among the traders. It's just you're listening to someone and maybe you're making some notes, similar like our platform today, but you don't get the opportunity
Mm.
to talk to people or to, and so I think that it's a very lonely position to be in. And so when you're going down and you're feeling you're the only one in the world
Right.
experiencing it.
Right. And
Yeah.
and you see today in a chat, you are not the only one. And
Yes.
the
Yes.
only reason why people don't do that is because everyone thinks they are the only one and they don't want to be vulnerable and show themselves. I'm struggling, thinking everyone else is doing great. No, please remember 90 something percent is not doing great. So where are these people?
Right. That's a
Right.
lot. That's
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 a lot.
Mhm.
So in order to be in that top 5 or 6%, I don't know, is it 95%, whatever, in this top little percentage, you gotta do something different. You gotta be someone else.
Yeah.
You gotta go out of that crowd and say, I am not gonna do the same things that everyone else is doing. That is really what will make a difference, shifting your focus. And
Mhm.
if I don't know if students of mine are still here in a chat, but I can tell you that everyone steps into the group, it's like looking around, but very quickly after you notice that the feeling of the camaraderie and the support is like every single person in this chat who is still there, over 100 people, I can tell you that they are all very loving and warm people, and they are willing to help. It's just that everyone thinks I'm the only one struggling, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you start seeing each other in person, and when we have our group sessions, we are all on camera. Everyone has a chance to talk and to interact with each other, and it's just it really makes a huge difference. My communities are not like thousands of people, because I do want to keep that level of contact with each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's you just really are able to it's like you're speaking the language that all of us are feeling that we don't get to express, or you're putting it in such a way, like I kept nodding my head like, yeah, that's me. Yep, that's true. Yep, I do that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and Sonia, I really, I really hope that you will accept for the recognition of yourself, that what you take out of this class is that everything that you are telling yourself is based on what happened, and that it does not say a damn thing about what can happen in the future.
Thank you.
It does not define you. The only reason why it feels real is because it actually happened, and your brain has the reference, and it's tapping into that reference, into the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that you also have the evidence that you were able to make money. So you have a choice. Which evidence are you going to be tapping into? We always have a choice. Every stick has two ends, so to say. Are you going to focus on those things that didn't go well, or are you going to focus on those things that are going to help you to build a new identity and say, but I am able to do this, but I know how it feels. And then you bring back that feeling, which will help you to make it more real. Every time when we bring emotion to the mix, is helping you make it more real for your body, for your brain, to recognize it. Oh, it's actually happening. When you add emotion to the mix, this is where it's happening. This is where it becomes real. That's why everything that happened is real, because you felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it stays there. And when you you can even like bitter in a second when you bring up the emotion. Right.
Mm.
So the same way you can be in the future if you add emotion to it and really start focusing on it. Yeah. That's the
Mm.
new identity. That's the new you. So
Yeah.
focus more on that, how good that feels. And it's not some kind of blah, blah, but it is really about where you put your focus of attention. And that will help you lift your energy and create a different momentum. Okay.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonia. And thank you for courage to come on the
Yes.
hot seat.
Thanks, everyone. All your support.
Bye, Sonia.
Bye.
All right. Let's do one more hot seat. It's 8 to 10. I really applaud you guys here for staying here so long. I would hot seat, but then tired, can barely think straight. You know, Joseph, sometimes it's a good thing because when you cannot think, your conscious mind might be protecting you less. So you might get even closer to the root. But I will respect that. And all right. So who wants to come? We have iPhone, Damien, and Z. The first one who type yes in a chat, and that will be our last hot seat for today. Okay, Damien. So come on the mic and the camera. There you go. Hi.
Good evening. How are
Good
you?
evening. I see a beautiful board. Be patient all the time behind you.
Well, you can read that far. That's good.
That's
And-
awesome.
And
So-
you have by the way, just a side note, you have a beautiful country that I visit many times. And
All
I'm
right.
also from Europe. I'm from France, and I moved here 40 years ago. So
Oh, very nice. And you move where? You're in the US right now?
yes, I am. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Not many people have visited Poland. I have visited your country too. I have been to France many, many times. I love lots of different parts. Provence, my favorite.
Now, so what I loved your presentation, and
Yeah.
it brought up a few things. And when I started day trading in 2017 and 2018
Mhm.
after my parents passed away,
Mhm.
and I made a lot of mistake. It cost me, I think, about $300,000 in losses over the years because I was, like Sonia, advised by a lot of people that had no idea what they were doing. And earlier this year, from February the 5th to the end of June, I was profitable.
Okay.
And then something happened, a saying that was told by my mother over and over and over again, that I was not good enough, that the only thing that I was good at is cleaning toilets. And so then for the whole month of, from June the 23rd, I think, all the way to the beginning of this month, it was sabotage. And sabotage. I went through a lot of Apex accounts, hundreds of them, because I'm there like, I can't do this. But I'm fortunate enough that I have a spouse who's also retired, who's very supportive, 100% behind me. So
Awesome.
now I'm back, I'm more or less back on track, but I have to find a way to prevent these self-sabotage to come back into play so that I can be consistent.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be profitable for another 4 months and then the self-sabotage starts again. And
Yeah.
then we go back into the cycle.
Absolutely.
So that's more or less the reason why I was bringing it up, because I'm sure in this room tonight, out of the 200, there's a lot of people who are doing the same thing that I am.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that. because as you say, there is a lot of people who have grew up with very similar belief, and this is becoming a part of your identity. That belief is part of your identity, and this is the reason why you allow yourself to be like you're doing well until the moment that there is a sign that you might be actually successful, and then you create a situation where like I don't believe it because I don't believe I can be successful, so the reality does not conform with my belief. I'm going to change the reality because it's easier to change the reality than changing the belief. So you are actually creating a new situation that will say, because we always want to be right, and the belief is something we believe it's true, so we will prove it. And that's where you end up in that cycle.
And Aniska, you have a very good point, because now that you're saying that, when I think of my work career that lasted close to 40 years, it was exactly the same thing. I would become successful, and then I would self-sabotage. And then I would start at the bottom, become successful, self-sabotage. Now, it wasn't in a period of 4 months, and it was a period of years, but the same thing happened.
Yeah.
You know, and when I look at my last job, because I was a restaurant manager, it was the same thing, self-sabotage. And then I said, why should I work? And that's basically what happened, self-sabotage all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Because we trade how we live. We take the same patterns and we put it into trading. That's why when you are going through that transformation, it's not just your trading that is changing, you are changing and your life is changing. We will always prove ourselves right. We will always prove that what we believe is right. And the stronger the belief is, the bigger part of our identity the belief is, the more we'll fight to prove it. And this is why in trading you fight with yourself. So congratulations, you already know one of your big beliefs that is actually influencing your trading and your life. And you also know that this is not something that came out of nowhere. You know exactly where it's coming from, right? So now the process is to take the emotion and disconnect it from the happening and from the thought, because the reason why the beliefs are still having impact on us is when there is an emotion connected to it. And probably somewhere there was something that happened before your mother told you that for the first time, or maybe when she told you for the first time, that when you have decided for yourself that you might be not good enough. And
but there's one more thing that I wanted to add, you know, because I have autistic tendencies, and I know now that I'm thinking about my past, and I have done a lot of it over the last few weeks, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of why I'm successful, and then I self-sabotage, is that when we came back in the early 1970s from Canada, where my dad was stationed, we moved back to France, I was never at home during the school year. I was always in boarding schools. And the other day was kind of funny. I was watching a French movie, and the school where I went to in Aix-en-Provence was there. And I'm looking at this building, looks like a prison. And I was talking to my wife. Now I'm starting to understand why I'm always thinking that I'm in prison, because for 10 years of my life, I lived in a square with walls that were, 10 or maybe 20 meters high, whatever it is. And all this has to go. I mean, when I look at the age my parents passed away, I'm still young, and I have to get rid of all this stuff, because I can live with it. And it's not, like you said, it's not just affecting the trading, it's affecting everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Because trading is pulling all those demons out. I always see trading, I always see the screen like a big mirror. The market is going to show you everything. It's just mirroring you. And everything you're doing is just a reflection of yourself. And that's why we are fighting it so much, because we don't like what we see. We don't understand what we see. We try to fight it. We don't go with the flow because we see that there is something we haven't really dealt with. It's standing between you and the market, and you are projecting it onto the market. And like some people said, you know, the market is always against me. It's like we personalize it, but actually we're taking part of ourselves, and then we have that fight with the market.
And
while
that
we
happens to
fight
be
with
with all the
ourselves.
time, because I can be in a trade and I get to a certain point, I said I get out of it and I just walk away for the rest of the day. And then when I looked at the chart at the end of the day, I said, why did you do that, Damien? You left hundreds, maybe $1,000 on the table by
Yeah.
walking away because you're self-sabotaging,
Yeah.
not on the trade level.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware of that.
So I think the fact that you are already in the process of becoming aware is it's fantastic, and definitely keep going. And one thing that I can like give you as a tip to continue with that, instead of asking yourself that question, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why am I sabotaging myself? And this is for everyone. Start asking yourself, how am I doing that? Because when you ask question why, there is a blame in there. Like, why am I so stupid? Like, why am I repeating this? Like, if I ask you why, you immediately feel like you have to defend yourself. Like, why? Oh, and you block, right? When I asked you, how did you do that? I'm asking you about the process. So you immediately start opening up and thinking, what steps did I take in order to do that? And those steps include your thoughts, your actions. Like, how did I talk myself into something? How did I talk myself out of this good trade? So that you can start sort of unraveling the puzzle and taking the pieces apart and say, oh, okay, so this is how I'm actually doing that. And one of the insights, like what you said, yeah, I'm actually doing that in my life as well, is like, how am I doing? What's my process that I am using to sabotage myself? Okay, so I build up success. I build up at the moment that I'm almost there, that I'm at the point of breakthrough, or a career change, maybe a promotion or a big opportunity. I'm saying, I check out, and I'm like, I'm gone, right? I'm switching and I'm starting all over. And that will give you an more insight into what emotions are coming up. What is it that you are, from the emotional state, are you searching for? Because there's always some sort of emotion that we are searching. Some people are addicted to stress. Some people are addicted to dopamine, to thrill, to all kinds of things. And it's a physical addiction as well for your body that keeps you in the old state.
Okay. Is there a possibility, and then you and I can discuss it, because I'm on a call with you on Friday afternoon anyways, for 45 minutes for the next step. Is it possible that all this, I'll call it stress for now, or not being comfortable in my skin, it could be another possibility, that it affects also the way I sleep, because
Absolutely.
I can hardly sleep anymore, and my body, like during the daytime, I can breathe normally, not a problem. Nighttime, nose clogs up,
Yeah.
and then I'm up.
It affects everything.
Okay.
That's why one of the steps is strategic integration, because it has influence how you think, how you trade, how you live, has influence on it's all connected. It's all connected. And the way that, if you want to perform well, you have to sleep well. If you cannot sleep well, how can you expect to perform well? why can't you sleep well? Because you're stressed. Why are you stressed? Because of trading. It's like you cannot disconnect.
I don't, well, I mean, I'm laughing about it. I don't think in my particular case it's because of trading. I think it's because of what happened decades ago that's coming back
Yeah.
that I have to deal, and
Yeah.
it's reflecting in my trading. But I don't think the trading is the key of the issue. I think the key of the issue is the few things that I discussed a few seconds ago that are the key.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, and
that's my
those
guess.
emotions can definitely um, a professor that's called Van der Kolk. He is actually a precursor of EMDR technique. I don't know if you're familiar. He calls it issue in a tissue. It's every experience that we've had in our life has emotions connected to it, and those emotions are like stored in our body. And when we have negative emotions from the past, they can still have effect on us physically and mentally years later if we are not going to clear that energy. So yes, so start asking yourself the question how, and if you are really committed to diving deeper into it, then I hope you schedule the call, and then I can, we can talk about it even more, because this is exactly the kind of things that we are working through.
Well, you know, the call is scheduled. I think it's 4:45 on Friday, or 4:30,
Okay,
whatever it is. It's on my thing, so it's done. It's already taken care of.
Awesome. Awesome.
Because things have to. I want to change, not just the trading. Trading for me is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't really do the trading to make money. I do trading because it keeps me sharp. You know, if I wanted to retire, my parents left me enough money that I'm okay. And probably my kids are okay too. But I do this for the fun. I've always liked numbers. When I was growing up at home on weekends with my parents, I would go through all his financial newspapers and all that good stuff.
So basically, if you do this for fun, you really don't want to be so stressed. Because
no,
that's
but
not
it
fun.
is stressing me. But
I
it
know.
is stressing me.
I know. So yeah, it's definitely time to change that for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to be fun, and then you're like, "Why am
No.
I even doing this?" Right?
Yeah.
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 So
But
I'm looking
not
forward to
gonna give up.
talking to you. I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you
Yeah,
more.
I'm looking forward to it too. And I
Awesome.
appreciate you taking me as a guinea pig, if I can call it that way.
Thank you for your courage to come on the camera. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Guys, I am gonna call it a day. This was absolutely so cool of you that you have stayed so long. I really enjoy, and thank you for your participation. I know the chat was really hot. I did not read all the comments, but I promise I'm gonna go through it. And remember, you can reach out to me until next Wednesday on WhatsApp with more questions. And yeah, thank you for being here, and for all the, I hope you got great value from it. Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye.